There we go. So, welcome to another Hangout. We're going to be talking to a guest today who will be talking us through some of the wonderful things about Twitter, the power of Twitter to form relationships. So, welcome to my guest, Dom Garrett.
Hi, everybody.
Dom, would you like to introduce yourself and tell everyone who you are and what you're doing?
Yeah, my name is Dom Garrett. You can find me on Twitter at Dom Garrett, which definitely recommend you do after watching this hangout if you like the information. If not, you can find me on Twitter and tell me you didn't like it. But I am the social media specialist for CET International. We are an international foreign exchange student program based out of the United States, where we basically work as an in-between between the State Department and all of the host families and the students from overseas. I do all of the fun social media specialties associated with that. I as well am the host of Daily Value on YouTube and a podcaster with my good friends Emma Cunningham and Maya Paveza for the Train Monkey Show that we have hosted on the iTunes Store.
That's great. Thanks, Dom. I wanted to explain to people how we met. It was Martha from Pipeliner CRM who RT'd one of my blog posts all about why your why in business is so important. And you very kindly commented on that and said something about, yeah, I totally agree, why is really important. And of course that made me go look you up and see who you were and why you were commenting on my blog, and I really liked what I saw. Your Twitter stream is just full of fun, and when I clicked on the YouTube for your daily values, you were just so relaxed and so open about what you believe in and how you like to do business and that kind of thing. And I also noticed on there that you'd said you were being very mischievous and saying to somebody, hey, how about we do a hangout while this Twitter chat's going on? And, I meet so few people who want to do hangouts. I thought, we've really got to do one. As soon as I asked you, you said yes, and here we are.
Yeah, exactly. I never turned out an opportunity for a hangout. I absolutely love them, and it's just such a fun way. I mean, you can do them live like what you're doing now. You can do them and just record them for later. You can do them to record for nobody. But I mean, hangouts our world now is so small when it comes to social media and the internet that it's wonderful to have this opportunity to do face-to-face like we would do over coffee, or you're in the UK, so maybe tea. We can do it over tea. So it's just fun to be able to do it.
It is, isn't it? It's great. And as I say, my frustration over the last 3 or 4 years while I've been trying to do Hangouts is to get people in the UK to recognise it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
You can just do it. If you don't like it, you wipe it out, you delete it, whatever, and start over. But it seems to be catching on a lot slower over here than it is in the States, and I find that very frustrating. But hey, we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
So Dom, tell me about Twitter chats, because that's kind of how we connected through Martha at Pipeliner and the Twitter chat that we've been involved in.
Yeah, definitely. Well, what I will, going back to Twitter chats, I had honestly never heard of them before probably February of this year. I had been doing sort of pseudo social media work for some people, i.e. I was the young 20-something that knew how to play on Facebook and Twitter, so jobs that I had, they told me to go do stuff. And I had paid attention to quite a few people, most importantly Gary Vaynerchuk, which I'm sure some people watching know who Gary is, just about different tips and tricks. But it was this past February, I had a friend that I randomly met through Twitter, mentioned this person's blog post. I ended up finding out her name is Ann Harris, so wonderful, great Anns think alike. But Ann Harris in Washington, D.C., and she did this Fall in Love with Twitter challenge right around Valentine's Day. And part of it was getting involved in Twitter chats. And so, a couple of websites came to mind, twubs.com, more importantly for me, Nerf, N-U-R-P-H.com. And so I just started diving into all of these different Twitter chats. And the great thing is that Twitter chats are like an online Venn diagram, that you have this group of people, and some of them overlap into this group, and into this group, and into this group. And so I started talking about things that I was actually passionate about with people that knew a whole heck of a lot more than me. Specifically, really it started with LinkedIn. That one was really big for me. The Get Real chat was really big. And then I started paying attention and finding these new ones, and what all of these other people, as I was following, I see that they're tweeting from, the Sales EU one, from Pipeliner. I heard about that through a Twitter chat all-star, Mr. Brian Fanzo, at iSocialFans. And so just started having these conversations with people, and I'll be honest, I loved it for part of the reasons that I did gain a lot of followers within like that first month, like probably 120. And at the time I only had like 350, so I was like, this is amazing. But then I realized I was talking very much in a professional, what I think should be said to these very nice business people. LinkedIn will help us streamline this and this, and just using nothing but buzzwords. And I kind of just, on a whim, decided that I would just talk like myself. I've heard plenty of people say, just be yourself, don't try to put forward some other thing. And so I just started to loosen up. I leaned back a little bit, and I just started having fun with it. And that's what I do in my normal life. I mean, I still know what I'm talking about, but I'm not going to give it to you in a way that you'd put in a textbook to put somebody to sleep. So I just started to lean into it and have fun, and really treat every single relationship that I made in a Twitter chat like I would if I met somebody at a networking event, or just hanging out at a bar, and started talking to them that way. And that's really where Twitter chats exploded for me, in that I gained a lot of really, really close friendships and great personal relationships that have worked both professionally and personally for me.
So if someone's watching this video after we've done the Hangout, and perhaps picked it up on my blog or something, and not aware of what a Twitter chat is, how would you best describe it? How do you recommend people start getting involved?
Twitter chats are, basically what it is it is a community of people situated around a specific hashtag that is about whatever topic they're talking about. And they're sitting, and everybody is on Twitter for an hour at the same time, so that you can ask questions. People can get feedback off of each other. It's basically just like a Q&A panel where you are the ones answering the questions. There's a lot of people that I know that are lurkers in Twitter chats that just like to pay attention to the stream and watch it all happen. People that like to get involved with it. You can ask my mom. I've never been one that has been not known to get involved with something. So, I mean, I'll jump right in, and I think that's why I had so much fun with it. But it's basically just a bunch of like-minded people talking about a specific topic for an hour. And it could be about anything. Obviously, you and I met through a very business social media type of Twitter chat, but there is, the Get Real chat where you're just talking about life. I know there's the dad chat where it's just dads talking about specific, topics every single week. And it's a great community that allows for you to get to know people around a specific topic.
Okay. I love the way you described, that you started out being kind of professional and thinking you had to talk in a certain way, and then just decided you were just going to be you, because that's really what I picked up. That I'm kind of the same, always have been. I've been on Twitter pretty much since it started.
Yeah.
And I don't get this business of people coming on there, with a company name, with a logo, and trying to tell people how to do stuff, and what the best way to run their lives or their business is. It's just nuts.
Yeah, and it's something, it bothers me so much, because a lot of times, I mean, I've spent a lot of my time in these Twitter chats with different community managers working in social media, and they talk so much about, for your brand, you want your brand to be very personal. You want your brand to be somebody that would want to be friends with, and that they're going to talk to them about this and that, and they're telling a bunch of people this is what they're supposed to do, and yet when they get into it, they're doing the exact opposite, and they're giving these canned responses, and they think that they're doing a good job because they get 10 retweets on it, when really it's like, I would much rather just have a conversation with somebody and have them be like, well, yeah, this wasn't really working, what could work, and not just somebody that exudes nothing but pure confidence, please use my product. It just rubs me the wrong way, and it'll eventually rub their community and their audience and their business the wrong way, and it is what it is.
So that kind of brings us to back to where we started, really, which was the blog post that I wrote about why people are in business and knowing your why and why that's so important. So why did that resonate so much? There's lots of whys there. Why did that resonate so much with you?
It was, gosh, it's the way that I sort of go about my life, really, and that I realized I started to gain success when it spilled over into my business, is one of my mantras is trying to figure out, like, I meet you, right? You and I, we have this conversation. Since we started communicating, my thought was, okay, so let's break it down to as simple of it is, why are we both in the same place right now? Well, all right, so we're both humans, we're both in business, we like that kind of stuff. All right, so let's expand it, and let's see how many circles we can get where we have the same level of what our main goals are, or what our why actually is. Why are we there? And you obviously get a deeper connection with those who you realize how many of those concentric circles out that you have. And so I do the same thing when it comes to business as when I do, making friends, and is that try to figure out, why are we here? What do we have in common that we can actually build off of to then get something done? Every business has a point to the end of it. They're trying to satisfy some need for a client, or they're trying to make something better. So the more people you can get built into that why, the more that you're actually going to be able to do moving forward. And the unfortunate part is that people don't think about what that why is, and they just think about what this end thing is, whether it's the bottom line or what it is. You're going to get lost in there, and you're not going to be able to have those connections. And those connections are what actually make things happen. Things aren't just going to happen, on their own. You really have to fight for those things. So when I hear somebody that's talking about that, I want to amplify that, because it's so important that people realize it. I feel like I'm up on a soapbox, but it's one of those things where, like, just pay attention. Dig in to what your why actually is and what your business's why is, and then it's going to make things a lot clearer for you, and it's going to cut out a lot of the crap.
Great. And is that why you started doing the Daily Values YouTube recording? Yeah.
Part of it was just, I'll be honest, part of it was because it was just because I wanted to. There was part of me that's like, I have this information, I want to be able to share it, I want to try to find like-minded people that can use it, and then also it really is it. I believe very much in being transparent, being very forward. I wrote a blog post a couple of months ago that was entitled "Wear Your Knowledge on Your Sleeve," and I think that that's what more people need to do, is they need to be able to put those things out, because while I know that I could be successful if 90% of my competition is putting out really, really crappy stuff, I would much rather have them be putting out good stuff and force me to put out even better stuff. So if I'm raising a bunch of people that are going to be producing much, much better stuff, then it forces me, if I want to still stand out, which I do, I always will want to, I'm going to have to do it a little bit differently and a little bit better. It's one of those things, trying to bring everybody up. So plus, I love the feedback. I love the feedback. It's also a lot of fun.
I'm sure, but that is just such a wonderful way to think. That's just great. I love that. So, Dom, tell us a bit about what you're going to be doing next. What's coming up for you?
I have teased this and hinted it in a couple of different places. One of my really good friends and I actually just we've made the decision we're going to be starting a app here. It's in early development, Basically, it is a event-based community platform. So, I talk a lot about communities, and I think that it's very, very communities are what it's those Venn diagrams that I'm talking about. When it comes to Twitter chats, that's why I love it, because it's a great form of community. That's why I love Google Plus, because as far as I'm concerned, real communication, real in-depth type communication, there's zero place on the web right now that's better for communities than Google Plus. So it really allows a lot of stuff. Plus, Google's the mothership, so we should all just take part in everything that they say that we should do. But the app itself is an event-based community platform. So specifically finding events, hosting events around a specific hashtag, so that you're going to be able to find everybody that's involved in it before, during, afterwards. It's going to be great for event coordinators to gain all of the content that people are making and talking about at their event. It's going to allow for much deeper and quicker communication at events. I can only meet so many people. I get a little bit of a high from going to networking events and conferences, but even I can only meet so many people in a day. The ability to have some sort of a record that I can then go back at and see who I have like interests with and sort of dig in after that is really big. It's huge for networking. It's going to be really great for personal events and things like that. Just fun. It's a way to organize memories around your special events, and be able to make every day special. So that's where I'm moving to next. So I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, I bet you are. So we're looking forward to keeping up with that. How will we keep track of it all?
Following me personally on my Twitter is probably the best way right now. We're working on getting everything all situated, so there will be a Twitter and a web page specifically designated to this. Like I said, it is pretty early stage, but I hope we're one of those early developing kids, that are like reading it too and pointing out colors right away. But at least the app equivalent of that. So just follow me on my personal one, and if you want any more information, follow me and send me a message, and I can fill you guys in.
Okay, that sounds great. So we call this this hangout the power of Twitter. So just sum it up for us. What do you think the real power of Twitter is? Is it that personal connection?
Yeah. Here's what I love about it, and this is my favorite thing. Is if you look at the landscape of different social media platforms, you have your Twitter, you have your Snapchat, your Vine, your Facebook, your LinkedIn, your Pinterest, your Instagram, your things like that. More and more, bless you. More and more, you are seeing every other platform other than Twitter becoming a content platform. Facebook is changing the way that you can put things right there in the stream that are auto-playing. LinkedIn is adding SlideShare and LinkedIn pages and things like that. Instagram is all content. Pinterest is all content. You can have a little bit of conversation on places, but that's not really where they're, what they're known for the most. Twitter is a constant, ongoing conversation at all times. And that's what I think the power of it actually is. Twitter is a dinner party on crack, is basically what it is. It's the ability to have your group of people that you curate, that you bring in, that you decide are my group, and it's a great listening tool, because while I could talk all day, you probably notice that you want to do this because my stream is not me just talking all day. My stream is 75% responses to other people. I put out some stuff, some articles that I think people might like, or some of my own videos and things like that, but the majority of what I'm doing is I'm pointing people towards other people. And, the power is to be a great host of a dinner party, being able to say, Anne, I would like for you to meet Brian. Brian and you have this similar in common, and then bring you guys into a conversation where, you can continue that conversation and things can start to gain from there. What I said before is that social media has made our world so small. It was a flux in the way that just people talked to each other. When you think of back in the 50s, you had very small town, everybody sort of knew each other in that, and then things started to gain with different media, radio, television, things got really, really loud. It was more just talk at, and people got so tired of that these types of things came in, flipped everything on its head, made the conversation two ways. So that's what the power is that it gives absolutely everybody a voice, and it gives everybody an equal playing field. You and I both started with 0 followers on Twitter. You and I started following 0 people. We're the ones that have all the power to be able to go out and create those connections. So it creates an even playing field for everybody where, if you really do it the right way, know what your why is, and focus on, I think it was Carnegie that said I think it was Dale Carnegie, you can make more friends in 3 weeks by listening to other people than in 3 months by getting people to listen to you. And if you do that right, that's what the power is that you can gain this group of people that you otherwise never would have had the opportunity to meet, to connect with, and to push things forward.
Yeah. Yeah, that sums it all up beautifully. I'm often trying to explain to people just what it is that I find fascinating about Twitter, and it is this randomness. The fact that how in another world would you and I have ever met? And yeah. It's the same. There are people I've been following since for 6-7 years that I've never met, never likely to meet, but we have a really good relationship. A fascinating relationship. And it's not all based around business. It's about other things that we're interested in.
Exactly.
And yet, it's really hard to explain to someone who's never been on Twitter how that works and why it's important and why it's valuable. Yeah. But I think you've done a really, really good job for us there. That's absolutely super.
Yeah. So, it's hard to completely describe because it can take on a life of its own for so many different people. But the way that I boil it down is just, I now have the opportunity to connect with so many other people, and my life experience is different than yours, but ours put together is greater than the sum of each individual piece. So Twitter just magnifies that, billionfold.
Brilliant. I think that's probably a really good place to stop.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if I can say anything better, so.
Words of wisdom from one so young. It's fantastic. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll put all your connection details on the YouTube video, and I'll also put the video on my blog, and we'll tweet about it, and we'll Google Plus it, and do all kinds of things, so that lots and lots of people can hear what you've got to say. But thank you so much for joining me. It's been an absolute joy to listen to you, and a pleasure to meet you online. So, and I'm sure we'll go on and have...
The pleasure is 100% mine. Thank you very much.
I'm sure we'll go on and have a lot of fun.
Yes.
So thanks a lot, Dom, and we'll see you. I'll see you on Twitter and lots of other places, I'm sure.
Yeah, hopefully.
Okay.